For several nights in a row, Muse, the imposing dark-coated pit bull, refused to leave the baby's room. His eyes never blinked. He was on constant alert, as if something far more serious was happening than just a dog's protective instinct. Jonah and Claire, his owners, began to notice that something was terribly wrong. But what? What did Muse know that they didn't? At first, Jonah brushed it off. "It's just instinct," he said. "He's protecting the baby." But Claire felt a chill every time she looked at him. She knew deep down that it was more than that. Something was wrong. Something was unsettling. Muse wasn't just a dog to them. He was family. After years of struggling to have a child, Muse had brought healing. He filled a void Claire didn't even know was there. He became her emotional anchor. But now, why was he acting so strange? And then, it got worse. Muse wasn't just protective anymore. He was possessive. Every time the baby moved, Muse was right there, frozen by the crib, never letting anyone near. Jonah called him to leave the room, but Muse wouldn't budge. Jonah tried pulling the leash. Muse growled. Low, threatening, something he'd never done before. Jonah froze. The air grew cold. Something was off. Claire couldn't ignore it any longer. What was going on? Why was Muse acting this way? What was he protecting? They decided to review the security footage. And what they saw made their hearts race. The shadow in the window. Muse wasn't just guarding the baby from something visible. He was reacting to something they couldn't see. Something beyond their perception. The mystery deepened. What started as a simple vigil turned into obsession. Muse wasn't just watching anymore. He was guarding. Guarding with a vigilance so intense, it made the air in the house feel suffocating. Claire felt watched, constantly. Was Muse aware of something no one else could see? She couldn't ignore it anymore. Muse was changing, and it wasn't just physical. He was absorbing something. Something dark. The connection between Muse and the baby was growing stronger and more dangerous. And then, one night, when Claire entered the room, she froze. The baby, who had been sleeping soundly, was now different. His eyes, vacant, fixed on nothing, as if he was in a trance. And Muse, sitting by the crib, stared at him with a strange intensity. The dog didn't move. Claire's heart skipped a beat. What was happening? It didn't stop there. Muse's behavior grew more intense, stronger, more possessive. And when the baby started to fall ill, high fever, non-stop crying, Claire didn't know what to do. The doctor found nothing physically wrong, but the baby kept getting weaker, its energy drained by something unseen. Muse was at the center of it. But what was he protecting? Claire approached the crib, but Muse growled, low, deep. He stepped between her and the baby, blocking her way. This wasn't just about the baby anymore. Muse was guarding something Claire and Jonah couldn't understand. What was Muse really protecting? What was happening to the baby? And why was Muse watching everything now? The connection between them was growing even more dangerous. Then, one night, Claire walked into the baby's room and saw something that made her blood run cold. The baby was different. His eyes, vacant. His movements, off. Something was terribly wrong. Something Claire couldn't ignore anymore. Muse wasn't just protecting the baby. He was guarding a secret, a much darker secret. In a panic, Claire grabbed the baby and bolted down the hallway. But then, she heard it. A sound. Software repetitive. Like someone trying to open a door, gently tapping on the wood. Claire froze. She tried to make sense of it, but then she realized. Something was happening to the house. The walls were closing in, like something was pushing them together. Something was coming. She ran back to the bedroom, and when she opened the door, there was Muse, standing in the doorway, his eyes fixed on her. Stronger now, more imposing. Something was different. He seemed to be fighting something inside himself. In that instant, Claire understood. Muse wasn't just protecting the baby anymore. He was trying to stop something worse, something that had infiltrated the house, controlling everything. Claire, holding the baby, looked at Muse and then heard a sharp knock at the window. There was something outside, watching, something that had never been there before. The truth was finally revealed. Muse wasn't just protecting the baby. He had been keeping them safe from an unseen force, something that had been creeping inside their home. With the baby now back to normal, Claire and Jonah knew it was time to leave. The house would never be the same. Muse had fought to protect them from the creeping, suffocating influence that had been affecting their lives. Exhausted, Muse lay down. If you're hooked by this story, don't wait. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications now.